Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the KBR Show. This is yours truly, King Buddy Ray, coming back at you on this wonderful Sunday evening, very chilly evening outside. It's currently just shy of 6 o'clock. It was a fun Sunday. Lots of things happening. Started early with the Australian Open at 3 in the morning, or 3:30 in the morning local time. Or you could rewatch around 7, 8 o'clock. But I watched the early version. It was good. We'll get into that. We'll get into some big college basketball from yesterday. We'll get into the NBA from yesterday. There's some good games going on currently in men's college basketball. There's one actually right next to me. Has about 2 minutes left. The top 10 matchup. Nebraska and Illinois. Big day in women's college basketball today, too. And then we're going to start something new today called the question of the day. Sometimes it's going to be sports. Sometimes it's going to be something else. But a new thing coming before the Bible verse and the positive thought question of the day. And then obviously we end the show with a positive thought and a Bible verse. But we will start with college basketball. It was a big day on Saturday in the college basketball world, and it started early. College game day was in Kansas, in Allen Fieldhouse, for the two freshmen, top two picks projectively, arguably could be someone different. We're talking about Darren Peterson and AJ Batanza, but we're going to look at that game a little bit later. First, we're going to talk about the game in Blacksburg. The Virginia Tech Hokies, or as I call them, the Virginia Tech Chokies, against my hated Duke Blue Devils. That I don't hate. You can see me rocking the UNC cap here. No, that was not planned. That's just I had a hat on today. They started the day at noon in Blacksburg. Will Duke come out alive? Their last 5 trips to Castle Coliseum in Blacksburg, they were 1-4 when they were ranked inside the top 5. Would they come out alive? Oh, they came out alive all right. They came out smoking. Came out on top, 72-58. Cameron Boozer, their freshman for Duke, Carlos Boozer's son, or one of his sons. He also has another son, Caden Boozer, twin. Cameron Boozer led the way with 24 points, 8 boards, and 5 assists. Isaiah Evans and Malik Brown both had 11 points for the Blue Devils. Leading the way for the Hokies, Amen Hansberry had 20 points. The Blue Devils remain unbeaten in ACC play. They play the Tar Heels next week. Biggest rivalry in college basketball, hands down. Probably one of the biggest rivalries in sports. UNC versus Duke next Saturday. College game day will be there. It will be a big game. Another battle of big freshmen there with Cameron Boozer and Caleb Williams of the Tar Heels. But let's continue in college basketball. Number 10, Houston hosted Cincinnati and beat them in Houston 76-54. The Tar Heels, UNC, traveled to Georgia Tech and beat the Yellow Jackets 91-75. Caleb Wilson set another freshman record for the Tar Heels. His 20 points is his 15th time with the 20-point game. That is number 1 by any UNC freshman, and that's big. UNC's had a lot of good players come through there. Michael Jordan, to name a few. Vince Carter, Rasheed Wallace, Tyler Hansborough, Raymond Felton, Danny Green, and there's tons more that we could also mention there. But the Tar Heels came out on top in Georgia. Henry also added 20 points. Trimble also chipped in with 18 points for the Heels. They're getting ready for Duke next week. Should be a good game. No matter really how bad or good UNC or how bad or good Duke is, it's always a good game. But it's even better when they're both good. And they're both good. They're both ranked inside the top 15. Well, UNC is currently 16. We'll probably move up because of changes. But should be a fun matchup next Saturday. Duke versus North Carolina. Should be a fun one. Let's continue with yesterday's games, though. Number 22 Clemson took care of business at home against Pitt, winning 63-52. Number 17, the Virginia Cavaliers took care of business on the road, traveled up to cold Boston College and pulled out a W, 73-66. Top team in all of the land, one of two remaining unbeaten. The Arizona Wildcats traveled to their rival, the Arizona State Sun Devils, and win by 13 there, 87-74, remains unbeaten. The other unbeaten, Miami of Ohio, wins big at home against Northern Illinois, 85-61. Vandy, can they win another one in a row after losing the last 3 or 4 and then winning big earlier in the week against the Kentucky Wildcats? They are at home against the Ole Miss Rebels, and they won in a tight one by 3. Tyler Tainer, their sophomore point guard, led the way for them with 24 points on 50% shooting from the floor. He's a scary point guard for a sophomore. If he stays in school, he could probably be a top draft pick in a few years. Hopefully he stays. Hopefully he even stays with Mark Byington. Mark Byington's a great coach. So hopefully he stays and becomes a top point guard for the Commodores. Number 2 team in all the land, the UConn Huskies, destroys Creighton in Omaha, 85-58. And now that takes us to the game of the day, which was in the afternoon at 4:30 in Allen Fieldhouse. Number 14 versus number 13. The Cougars versus the Jayhawks. AJ versus Darren. Freshman versus freshman. Who would come out on top? There were 17 teams represented, 32 total NBA scouts, presidents, GMs, 32 total people associated with teams, but 17 total teams there for these two guys and some other guys on the teams as well. They've got very good depth for both teams. Big first half for Kansas. They came out in the first half and took a 53-33 lead into the half. AJ Batanza only had 7 points on 6 shots, so they really held him down. Very good there. The Jayhawks were very well balanced, 3 players in double figures. Darren Peterson led the way with them in the first half with 18 points. But the second half would it be a different story? Would Kansas hold the lead? Would BYU come back? BYU is the best second half team this year in college basketball. And they did not disappoint. They came back. But Darren Peterson went down to the bench too, so that played a little dividends. He went down about 3 or 4 minutes into the half. Didn't have any points in the second half. BYU makes it a game late. But Kansas pulls away 90-82. Richie Saunders led the way for the Cougars with 33 points and 10 boards. AJ Batanza, their freshman phenom, had 17 points. Peterson, as I said, had no points in the second half. Who's the better freshman? AJ Batanza? Darren Peterson is the best freshman even in this game. You could argue it's Koa Pett from Arizona, Caleb Luslin from North Carolina. No bias here. Cameron Boozer. In my opinion, yes, I'm a Tar Heel fan, but I'm a fan of Cameron Boozer, man. I think he's the best freshman. People are probably going to disagree with that. You can come at me in some comments here. One, the dude's a freaking menace on the defensive end. He is a true power forward. Will probably play center in the NBA because that's just how the NBA is with his size. But he can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass, and he can play defense. He has every step of his game there. Like, I don't know how big he is, but let's look this up real quick. Give me a sec. It's making me interesting. I didn't write this down. So let's look up how big Cameron Boozer is. I know he's at least 6'6". He's 6'9", 250 pounds. So he's a big guy. He's probably going to play the 4 and or the center at the next level. But he is a menace on the defensive end. In my opinion, he's the best freshman. A lot of people don't agree with that. They think it's AJ Batanza or Darren Peterson. I like Darren Peterson, but he's been hurt a lot. But is he really hurt. Some people think it's load management. Some people think it's just him being him. Is he really hurt? When he's in, he's good. But I think Cameron Boozer is better personally. You can hate on me all you want there, but we will see come NBA draft this summer and see who the number one draft pick is. But no matter who you pick between Kopech, Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson, AJ, Darren Peterson, you're in good hands. The top 10 draft picks this year, easily, are going to be whoever you want. Like, it's not going to be like, let's take a risk on this guy. Any of the top 10 are going to be good, which is good for the NBA. The NBA is set up very well for the next few years. And you got a lot of their older players starting to fall off. LeBron, Steph, KD, and some others, just to name a few. But NBA is in good hands with some good talent coming from the college ranks in the next few years. Speaking of the NBA had an early game. They had an early tip at noon as well. You had the San Antonio Spurs in Charlotte playing the Charlotte Hornets. And the Hornets knocked them off 111 to 106, led by Alabama Crimson Tide graduate Brandon Miller himself with 26 points. But they really had a balanced scoring effort from their whole team. They had 6 people in double figures. Miles Bridges had 14. Moses Diabate had 12. Lonzo Ball had 16. Rookie phenom Con Knipple, second best rookie in this class, in my opinion, also from Duke, had 13 points. Colin Sexton off the bench, another Alabama grad, had 21 points as well. The Spurs were led off the bench by Dylan Harper with 20 points with really efficient shooting, 9 of 13. Victor Wembanyama, the Frenchman, only had 16 points. He really didn't shoot the ball too well. He was 0 of 3 from deep, 6 of 15 overall. The Spurs couldn't really protect the ball. They had 26 turnovers, and the Hornets let those go to 30 points. In college ball, we just had another top 10 matchup. Nebraska loses their second back-to-back, 69 to 78 against Illinois. They've lost 2 games in a row now, both to top 10 teams. But back to NBA, and that's just playing right next to me. So I figured I'd point that out there. We'll touch back on that tomorrow. The Indiana Pacers traveled to Atlanta to beat the Hawks 129-124. The Chicago Bulls, traveled to Miami to play the Heat, and they win 125-118. The Minnesota Timberwolves went into Memphis to defeat the Grizzlies 131-114. No Paul George, no problem, Philly says. Philly beats the Pelicans at home. New Orleans Pelicans Philly 124, New Orleans 114. Now to the game of the night, game of the day. Rookie phenom Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks versus the Slim Reaper Kevin Durant and the very tall and lengthy Houston Rockets. Would it be a game? Would the Rockets blow them out? It was in Houston. The Mavs did make it a game, but Kevin Durant, Amen Thompson made some shots late and win 111-106. Cooper Flagg led the way for the Mavs, another big night. 34 points, 12 boards, and 5 assists. The Rockets were led by Amen Thompson with 21 points, 8 boards, and 9 assists. Another balanced night from the Rockets. That's going to take them pretty far in the postseason. KD had 13, Jabari Smith Jr. had 19, Alfred Şengün had 14, and Tari Eason had 17. Still no true point guard. Amen Thompson and Kevin Durant kind of take care of that. Will they make a trade? We'll see. But speaking of trades, some big news in the NBA. The first trade goes down yesterday. Dennis Schroeder, veteran point guard of the Sacramento Kings, or some people call him the Skittles Man because he's played for just about everybody. He's played for Boston, he's played for the Lakers, he's played for the Hawks, there's so many to mention. I'm not even going to try to mention them all because I'm probably going to forget somebody. But he has played for so many teams. He gets traded from the Kings to the Cavs for DeAndre Hunter and some other pieces. But DeAndre Hunter was the main piece there. What does this mean for the Cavs? I like it a little bit for Cleveland because you get a veteran presence in the playoffs, and I think that's going to play dividend to two things: the Cavs as a whole and to Donovan Mitchell. That's going to help him in the playoffs as well. But what does that mean? Is Darius Garland really more hurt than what we think? Is it another just bench player? What does it mean for the Cavs? We will see. I do like it. I'm a DeAndre Hunter fan. I think that hurts a little bit. But if you can get Max Strus and Darius Garland back, I think that plays dividends there in the Cavs' favor with this trade. Don't totally like it, but I don't hate it. But that's the first trade of hopefully many with the trade deadline coming on Thursday. One last thing of big news in the NBA. Paul George of the Philadelphia 76ers is suspended for 25 games because he failed the drug policy. He's suspended and was fined a hefty sum as well. So he's suspended for the next 25 games. Now to the land down under. The Australian Open. The finals. Would they live up to the hype again? Would it disappoint? It did not. We'll start with the women's from late Friday night, early Saturday morning. Number 1, Elena Sabalenka versus the Russian number 5 ranked Elena Rababenka. The Russian wins in 3 sets, and in women's, it's best of 3. She takes the first set 6-4, loses the second set 4-6, and then takes the third set 6-4. It was back and forth, but it really ended up being late. Sabalenka had too many unforced errors late in the match, and the Russian ends up on top. This is the 9th straight Grand Slam different winner for the women's. So the women's is in good hands with a lot of different winners. You got the men, it's really 3. There's a gap of 3 for men, and then a lot of here, but the women, top to bottom, are probably a little bit deeper. But tennis overall is in good hands. And that takes us to the men's final. The up-and-comer, the next GOAT, versus the current GOAT, Carlos Alcaraz, the Spaniard, versus the Serbian Novak Djokovic. Carlos is looking for his first Australian Open final and his 9th overall, and Novak is looking for his 11th Australian Open and his 25th overall. Who would win? Would we have another 4 to 5 hour match? No, but we did have another 3-hour match. It was a fun one. Novak came out swinging. Took the first set 6-2, but then Carlos takes the next 3, 6-2, 6-3, 7-5, and wins in 4 sets. Really good match. It was about 49, 51 points won in favor of Carlos. Unforced errors was the biggest difference. Novak had 46 to 27 for Carlos. That was the biggest difference there. Carlos won 5 of the 16 break points. Novak won 2 of 6. So really pretty even. Even though the 6-2, 6-3, 7-5 doesn't show it. But they were deep point games is what that means pretty much there. So Carlos at age 22 completes his career slam. Youngest to ever do it. Nadal did it at 24. Novak did it at 29. Roger Federer, in my opinion, the GOAT, did it at 27. Andre Agassi did it at 29. Will Carlos keep on winning? Will he be the next guy? Will the Italian Yannick Sinner give him a run for his money? Will it be Ben Shelton? Will it be Andre Zverev? Will it be somebody else we don't even know about? But nonetheless, tennis is in good hands. You got Novak still competing at a high level. You got Carlos being 22 years old and he's #1 in the world. You got Yannick who's in good shape. He's young. You got Zverev, you got Shelton, you got Francis Tiafoe, you got Taylor Fritz, you got lots of good men's tennis players as well. You kind of got a top 2 to 3, or 2, no, not 2. You got a top 3 with Yannick, Sinner, Novak, and Carlos, and then everybody else. But you still got a pretty good competitive there. So very fun in Australian Open. The next big tennis Open is the French Open at Roland Garros on the clay courts. Should be a fun one there. Looking forward to that. I think Yannick comes and makes a statement. Here's my early pick here for the French Open, and Yannick comes and wins it. Because a lot of people are doubting him in these long matches late in tournaments. I think Yannick works on his craft, works on his game, and wins the French Open. That is my take for the tennis world. Now, to the big question of the day, a new thing we're doing on the KBR Show. Today's big question of the day. You have a tie ball game, one timeout left. NBA, this is. Who is drawing up your play? Players don't matter. Everyone has the same players. Who is drawing up your play here? Number 1, Phil Jackson. Number 2, Greg Popovich. Number 3, Eric Spoelstra. Steve Kerr, Pat Riley, or Doc Rivers. For me, the greatest coach of all time is on this list. Greg Popovich. Shout out San Antonio Spurs. And there's 2 reasons here. He's won in 2 different eras, and even more than that. 2, he won with a lot of different talent, a lot of different players. He knows what to get out of people and how to get it out of people. I think he's the best choice here to who to pick to draw up your one play in a game 7 down or a tie ball game with one timeout left. I think he's your best choice. I think anyone's good. I don't know why Doc Rivers is on this list. No shade towards you, Doc Rivers. But compared to everyone else on this list, you haven't won as many. But I think this is how I put it in order. I put it Greg Popovich 1, Phil Jackson 2, Eric Spoelstra 3, Steve Kerr, Pat Riley, then Doc Rivers. I think it's real close between Pop and Phil Jackson, but I think Greg Popovich should be the guy you want to call the timeout there. Let me know what you think down in the comments when I post this on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok. Let me know what you think. But I think Greg Popovich, shout out to you. Miss seeing you coach the Spurs every single night, but hopefully you're living healthy. Great coach, great guy. Greg Popovich would be my choice there. Now we look ahead to sports the rest of the week, and we'll touch up a little more on this tomorrow. You have Big Monday, you have Super Tuesday, both in college basketball. NBA's playing every night. Big games really on Tuesday and Wednesday there. We'll get into those. Local sports is back. The kids are going back to school. Even though Augusta County's out tomorrow and Rockham County's on a 2-hour delay, the kids are going back to school. High school basketball, it will be back this week. Lots of games going on. Lots of battles for number 1 seeds in districts. Number 2s, number 3s, number 4s. Lots of rival matchups going on this week. So if you're a big basketball fan, or even if you just want something to do in the evening, go to a high school. Hit me up. I'll let you know who's playing. And watch some good basketball. Just don't yell at the refs. Especially if I'm one of them. Don't yell at me, please. But lots of good games going on this week. Should be fun. We'll look into more of this week in sports on tomorrow's episode of the KBR Show. And that takes us to the positive thought of the day. Courage doesn't mean you don't get afraid. Courage means you don't let fear stop you. Again, courage means you don't get afraid. It means courage doesn't let fear stop you. Don't be afraid. Keep trying. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't let fear win. And don't give up. Have courage. It's okay to have fear. Just don't let it win. Never let others tell you you can't. You can do anything you put your mind to. You can do it. Believe in you. Have courage. Don't let fear stop you. Don't be afraid. And that takes us to our Bible verse of the day from Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will give you strength and will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Again, that takes us to don't be afraid. God is always with you. He has plans for you, even when it seems impossible, even when it seems there's no end, even when it seems there's no light at the end of the tunnel. God is always with you. Don't be afraid. He will guide you. He's always there. Again, from Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will give you strength and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Again, Isaiah 41:10. Thank you for tuning in on this wonderful Sunday evening. Get some rest tonight. Get ready for a big week. We'll do another podcast tomorrow. We'll look at women's basketball from the day, the college basketball from the day, as well the one game that had just ended, a top 10 matchup where Nebraska lost their second in a row. We'll look at NBA from the day as well. Maybe another trade goes down between now and then. We'll do another question of the day, positive thought and Bible verse, and then we'll look at some football and some baseball. So, thank you for tuning in. Go have a wonderful evening. Don't let fear win. And until next time, this is yours truly, King Buddy Ray, signing off. And as always, go Bucks.